My name is JaQuanne LeRoy, and I'm a visual artist from Wilmington, Delaware, and I'm hanging out with NadjNJea.
Hey, everybody.
Hey, everybody.
It's Jay with NadjNJea. And as you just heard, we are here with one of our artistic gems, JaQuanne. So welcome to the show, brother. I think it's been a little bit too long. I feel like we should have had you on a little bit sooner, but I'm glad that we can finally make it happen under some pretty cool circumstances. And I know you have a lot of stuff coming up, but if it's okay, Naj, I wanted to ask the first question.
Yeah.
So, I just generally, when you walked in and saw the whole exhibition at the art museum, what was your first impression?
So I work at the art museum, so I am there pretty often teaching classes and things of the sort. And it was just exciting to see someone who, in essence, had a similar story to my own. Percy Ricks being an art instructor, and then also being someone who curated an exhibition, really spoke to me as an artist who teaches and also curates exhibitions. And just really was encouraging for me to know that I do have somewhat of a blueprint, that there is an example there for me to follow.
Yeah. Wow, I love that.
Go
ahead.
No, you go ahead, seriously.
You said you teach at the art museum?
I do. So I teach programming with their, what would you call those, like school field trips. So I've done some lessons with Kumba Academy, with Alexandria, I don't know the name, but it's like the initials are AAA, and it's a school that's predominantly of Hispanic heritage, and different other special programs that they have come through. I'm one of their teaching artists for those types of programs. Oh, and I did their summer camp this past summer.
How long have you been working with them?
So I had a residency with the Delaware Art Museum, the Delaware College of Art and Design, and the Chris White Gallery. They were like a little trio. And I had a residency with them in 2019 up until the end of last year.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So it was a teaching artist, curator in residence program, and I had the opportunity to work with the college on some curatorial projects with their students for their gallery club. And then I also had the opportunity to work with Chris White Gallery to curate exhibitions with them. So yeah, really exciting.
That's awesome.
Yes.
Go ahead, Jay. Go ahead. You itching.
One of the things that you had, that you said right from the beginning, which really interested me, is number one, you noted very clearly that you connected very clearly with Percy in terms of all the different things that he does, because you do similar things. Right. And I would like you to kind of expand on, the idea that you are kind of following a blueprint, because I felt that way even as a non-visual artist in watching everything. So could you talk a little bit more about that?
So I would say for me, looking at, even especially the pictures, I'm a visual guy, and I know there were a lot of words in that exhibition, but I didn't read them. But when I saw pictures of, him teaching young people in classes, and then also, taking time to set up, those exhibitions, it was just like, wow, this feels like very familiar and very remnant. And then him also being an artist in, in his own right, was something that was just really inspiring to me. I don't know, sometimes as young people, I'm not gonna pick on nobody, but I think sometimes as young people, we have a tendency to feel like, oh, like we doing this, and like nobody's ever done this before, and like I'm the first and all of that. But like, no, in 1971, there was a man named Percy Ricks who was living in a time that was difficult, right out of the time where, there was occupation here from the, can't remember which military arm that was.
The National Guard.
The National Guard. So there was occupation from the National Guard because of the riots that were taking place here. There was an artist, right, who was documenting that through his work. And that for me is just like, wow, that's what this is supposed to be about. And so I'm just all inspired by him as a man in general. And it, because, you know, it's very easy to feel like, and I think that has a lot to do with like how we recount stories and things like that. But it's very easy to feel like, you know, well, there's no example for this. I was inspired to see his work and how he pulled together other artists as well too.
Did you happen to find out about the exhibition before they announced it? Like, did you?
Oh yeah.
Okay. So when you heard about it, what were your thoughts?
I mean, same thing. It was just, you know, hearing that, like, oh wow, there was. I mean, it's not surprising. I know the Delaware Art Museum as that place that felt like it was unavailable to me, and they understood that as well. And I was grateful to see them, you know, own that. That, you know, there was this sense that this is not a place that is welcome for everyone. Like, everyone is not welcome here. And I know that, you know, Sam Sweet isn't the director there anymore, but I don't know who was there as the director before him, but in that transition, it was nice to see, wow, that they are now starting to think differently about what they look like as a museum in this time, which really is to their benefit. It speaks to where they are in terms of their own sort of self-consciousness of as a museum, that like you recognize that you have a role to tell a larger story than that of the pre-Raphaelite collection, or whatever other stuff. And even their story is still cool, but it's like, how are you connecting with the people who are here living today?
And like I always parallel, you know, I'm a musician, so it would really be like if you go to any musical establishment and all they're playing is Bach and Mozart, like, bro, like, there's so much more. So it's, when you think about it just from that angle, it's completely absurd in the first place. So
and I'm grateful that they recognize that, and then also are pivoting and going in a different direction. And, you know, for me, I'm not a certified teacher. I hope this don't mess up. But I am not a certified teacher. I did not finish college. But, you know, I had a lot of experience growing up working with young people and also working within the arts. And so putting those two together and being able to be recognized by an institution like the Delaware Art Museum was really special to me. You know, even when I applied for that residency, it was like, well, the person who had it before me had a master's degree. And so it's just like that feeling and that sense that like they are now making themselves available to a broader population, not just in, you know, how they're doing exhibitions, but how they think about hiring people, how they think about like presenting like actual like other types of programming outside of just what they're hanging on the wall. Was really just something that was inspiring to me, is inspiring to me.
So for the people who aren't familiar with you, which is crazy because you don't bomb.com. Tell us who is the artist? Who are you? What influences you? How can we get to know you a little bit better?
So me, who is the artist? JaQuanne LeRoy. So I am, you know, born and raised in Wilmington, Delaware.
What's that? What part?
Oh, I'm from West Side. I'm from West Side. Yeah. Where are you from? No.
West Side.
You from West?
Chestnut and Clayton.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah.
I am from Newcastle, but I reside in North Side.
On the north
that's
side.
right. That's right.
Yes.
Well,
she's up on Van Buren.
You would say over north. I live.
Oh, I'm over north.
Yeah, I live over north. Yeah. So I am from the west side of Wilmington, and I like grew up on this side of town. I went to West End as a kid. I was involved in most of the programs that they had at West End. A lot of my early work and working with young people came through working with West End. And, I met two amazing women who like really poured into me, and like were always kind of like, yo, I got something for you. I got a job for you, even when they left West End, and that was a blessing. And I really just have been just blessed. Like, and who am I as an artist? I'm an artist that is blessed. I recognize that my gift comes from God. And even before, having my coming to Jesus moment, where I gave my life to Christ, I know that he was a part of my journey all along the way, even when I didn't know him. And thinking back to like me being, starting as an artist after I left the work that I was doing with young people, I really was coming out of like a dark place. I was, doing pieces that or doing art after I like was meeting and seeing Terrence Van and Aline Smith for the first time. And I was just like, wow, like I didn't even know that this existed here. But they really were just like, they had this Color Brothers exhibition that they did at Chris White Gallery. And that was just like,
oh yeah,
awe-inspiring for me. It was just like I couldn't believe that like this was a thing. And I went through most of my life thinking, you got to get a job. You're either going to be a teacher or you are going to be working at somebody's bank or doing something with computers. Because that's really, all their Delaware mainly was banking back then. Like it was either you worked at the bank, my mom worked at the phone company, but you worked for some big name that was on the side of a building. Mm-hmm. But long story short, I found myself coming to Christ in 2018. And prior to that, doing art like in 2016 and just having all these random things that just happened to me, like getting my work inside the Delaware Children's Museum was very random.
Wow.
I can't remember where how I got in touch with them initially. Another job, odd-end job I used to have, got connected with a young lady who was working there through my old manager. And then so I did a class there, taught a painting class there. And then lo and behold, they were like, wow, like you should really be in this museum. And I was like, okay. And it was great because it did connect to like, my work with working with young people. And my exhibition there is really all about, teaching about different forms of art and what is a replica versus what is or an original versus a replica of art. And then, what is public art? And so just really wanting to like educate our people. And as an artist, I think that's really my goal, is really just to just pour into people. And sometimes that's knowledge, sometimes that's, pouring into them emotionally and spiritually. But all in all, that's the end point for me. That's the end goal for me, is that, people would get a sense of addition from my work. And that's me. That's me, the artist, JaQuanne, LeRoy.
One of the artists, I'm sorry, that is in the exhibition is Earl Wilkie. We talked to his son, David Rain, his stepson. And part of Earl's story is he had a very there's a big conflict between his spirituality as a Christian and the circles that he moved in as an artist. And I'm very interested, since you kind of brought that up, in hearing how your art is affected by your spirituality.
Oh, well.
Sorry. You take a moment.
Where y'all putting this interview up at? How much of it is y'all putting up?
It's gonna be at your church Sunday morning, bro. So say
I ain't worried about mine. I'm gonna make sure I'm good. I'm actually at my church right now. Funny of all things. Shout out to Epiphany Church. But yeah, I am an artist with many contemporaries who are on all different levels and in all different sort of spiritual places. And I think, and Christians already have a reputation for being Pharisees, if you will. Ironically, I was just talking to somebody earlier and I was like, man, like when I read the Bible, it's just like, why do the Pharisees sound like modern day Christians? But I'm not here to, Pharisee. I'm not here to do all that. But main point I'm saying is that I think that for me as a Christian artist, I have to be the best example of Jesus that I can be. And Jesus was not about like shunning people and, telling people what that they were going to hell or anything of the sort. Well, he did tell some people they was going to hell. It wasn't the people that you would think. It wasn't the people who were, the people that we look at today and say like, oh, that person ain't got nothing going good for him. No, he was talking about the people that think they know everything. The people who are out here casting judgment on other people, that these are the people that need to be checking themselves before they find themselves in the depths of Sheol. But moreover, now I am just really encouraged by that when I think about how I operate in different circles. I am currently about to be in an exhibition that has a lot of different narratives that around identity, around religions even. I'm a Christian artist participating in this exhibition, and there are other artists of different faiths within that exhibition as well. And I think the main thing for me is really just respect. And I do my best. Like, I am not perfect. I have to check myself. I tell people I was judgmental before I became Christian. Like it didn't start with me being a Christian. I didn't, read the Bible and then all of a sudden it's like I have the right to judge folk. No, I was pretty much doing that before I became a Christian. And please don't blame Jesus for that. That's not Jesus's character. That's me. That's JaQuanne. But moreover, that's my main goal. Operating in these creative circles where you got some folk that's like got their crystals, you got some folk that may be Muslim, and some folk that are doing all different types of spiritual practices. I have to be the best living example of Christ, because if I want people to adopt my faith, I have to have to live it out, in the best way possible, and be the best example of it that I can be. I ask for grace when I make mistakes, and I'm willing to apologize also when I've hurt people. And so I think that's the main thing for me as an artist who exists in these spaces where I am usually sometimes one of the only people of the same faith. So
it's dope. I really appreciate you sharing that, because I know that's that's pretty personal. So I really appreciate you being bold enough to answer that question. And that was a really graceful answer. That was cool.
Yeah. Thank you, man. Thank you. No, I love Jesus though. I mean, I'm not, I'm not, not going, not here
I'm looking around right now. I'm trying to see if I can smell any collard greens or some, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, back up, Jay.
I'm trying to hear if I hear some good music. Where's the organ? You know what I'm saying?
This is a church on a Wednesday evening,
Stop it.
You don't got choir practice? What's going on right now?
Choir practice is tomorrow. You welcome to come through. I'll drop the address in the chat.
I'm gonna drop the Addy.
Yeah.
Wait, listen. Y'all need to make sure y'all fire detectors got batteries, because when Jay walk up in there,
it's gonna be. Have you heard the bad news? Jay walked in.
Lord, no.
God.
It was in a church in that video you did, and it seems to be holding up pretty well. You're good.
Yeah. Well, staying on the spiritual part of this. So you and I remember we ran into each other at the opening.
Yes.
And we had some discussions, and so Jay, you weren't there, but I remember watching him kind of taking the photos or taking the artwork, and the conversations we had were, what he thinks about, art now, and the history of where the exhibition came from and all of those things. But I noticed there was a difference between the you that I know when I'm out and about, in our circles. And then there was the one that was at the museum that night. And it was a pleasant surprise, because me and Jay often talk about how we've been learning so much about visual art through this experience with the Delaware Art Museum.
Yeah.
And being there that night was the first time that I was in front of a peer who was in front of artwork and had almost like this emotional, spiritual moment. And I think I apologized to you for like stalking you because you were like really into it. You were taking it all in. And I just kind of want to talk about that. You know, when you walk into the exhibit, what were you feeling? What were some of the emotions and thoughts that were going through your mind when you walked by different pieces? And, you know, what were your reflections?
So I would say, just to sum it up, I was deeply encouraged. I was deeply encouraged to see this embrace and this diversity of art that was receiving such a reception from all different types of people. But moreover, it was really inspiring for me as a curator, as someone who not just as an artist, but as someone who works to bring together artists to tell a story. That was the part that was really awe-inspiring for me. And then the connection that this was an exhibition that was, in essence, told no by the museum when it originally was presented to them, you know, and then being in the space where these people, you know, this is the museum that told them no, felt like I was in a very surreal moment. Like I was a part of like history in that moment. Like the camera was like flanking down and just like documenting this moment of, this was something that at one point was unavailable, or they were told by these people that, you know, no, you are not welcome, or this is not good enough. But then to be in the place, in the moment where they have course corrected themselves to develop an appreciation for what these people are presenting was awe-inspiring and, again, deeply inspirational.
Yeah. You know, to follow up with this whole, you know, with that point that Naj made, or that question that Naj asked, and we've said this a couple of times as we've talked to a lot of you guys who are artists in Wilmington, it seems to me, again, that the litmus test for them really amending those errors are, and this isn't just on their shoulders, but like, you know, for anyone trying to fix the past wrongs, you know, the question is the current generation of artists having an easier time navigating, you know, getting their work out there? You know, do you think that your generation is, you know, having an easier time, which is a good thing, you know?
I would say that for myself personally, I've been blessed again, like in the opportunities that I've gotten, you know, like even working with like Wilmington Children's Choir and just all these like random things that I get like asked to do and participate in that I know come from a higher source. But moreover, I know that's not the experience that everyone has. And so I really make an effort to sort of leverage my own influence with these different organizations that, you know, when there is an availability for me to work with another artist or to collaborate with someone, that I'm thinking about someone who isn't maybe as exposed as someone else. But to answer that question directly, I'll say this. When I grew up here, as I was growing up here, I did not believe that doing art or doing any type of creative thing, I was really wanted to sing. That was like my real passion, like as a kid, like I wanted to be a singer. But, you know, it was just like, that's not like something you can actually do. And it's not something that you can do here. You have to go live in New York, or you have to go live in LA somewhere, or now Atlanta, to do music or something of that sort. But now seeing people like even the both of you who live lives here. And, you know, I'm assuming you travel, you live here, but you're still able to access opportunities outside of here. But I think that there's room for growth, absolutely, in our local art scene. I'm sure that you both would agree that there is definitely room for growth. But I think that we do have to recognize what we do have so that we can actually build from there. And to some degree, even like appreciate what we do have. Like, I'm not the biggest fan of Art Loop, mainly because of the format. And, you know, it's like, try to get to all these locations in 4 hours or 3 hours. You know, and that's like seems counterproductive, right? If you want to promote artists, how can we do this where like we can give them more reception and we can like, you know, say, hey, like this artist is showing on this Friday, this artist is showing next Friday, versus cramming that all into one night. But at the same time, when Art Loop comes back around, I do still make an effort to participate if I can, either by attending or if I have an exhibition that's up, you know, making sure that people know, being available for Art Loop and things like that. So yeah, short answer, I think we absolutely have work to do. There's still progress to be made, but I think that the progress that I want to see is for young people to adopt the mindset that they can be creative right here in Wilmington. They don't have to leave and go to Philly or even to New York or to these other places to express themselves creatively.
Yeah.
Themselves.
We have heard that theme several times over the course of us speaking with different artists. And it's really, like you said, encouraging and from my end, just refreshing to hear that, because that in itself, just the fact that there are a reasonable amount of us who are understanding of the potential of this place and kind of sticking to it, like we're going to build something here. Oh, yeah. It's really cool, and to see so many people who are on that same page. Yeah.
Absolutely.
And I think I completely agree with both of you. And I think to add to that, I think one of the reasons why Philly is so successful at having like their local events packed is because both the creator and the business owner understand that locally you can be big. Whereas here, I kind of feel as though only the creators feel that they can be big. So we're forced to work a little bit harder to get the businesses to accept that. So hearing these types of things helps to reiterate like, hey, yo, we good. Like, look us.
Exactly.
Right. Yeah. And I'm noticing too that, I mean, I don't know where we were in 1971, right? That, you know, like I was reading before I even got on this call about the Wilmington Armory and about even the legacy that it had as like a venue space and that it feeling welcome and available. And when I think about like, well, where is that in Delaware now? You know, there's nothing that sort of jumps out at me and says like, oh, this is a place that like everyone feels welcome at. It's easily accessible and everyone knows about it. But I think that it's going to happen sooner than we think, that there will be this hub for creative people. I also was reflecting on, I think he was a music artist. I think his name was TC.
Yeah. Wow.
And he was here a while ago, like, and at the time when he was doing like his open mics, and I remember going into those things,
at Oddity Bar at World Cafe, when it was World Cafe Live.
Right. And it was just like, wow, this is Wilmington, like, and it was just so shocking to see the talent that was here. Where now I'm like, oh yeah, this is Wilmington. It's rich in that, you know, that sense of, you know, all this diversity among different types of creatives. We are striving toward that mark. And so I am just I'm just another chapter in the book, you know, with y'all. Y'all got y'all own chapters too. You know, we just making this beautiful collection of like us, you know, just really doing it out here, you know? So yeah.
Jay?
No, my last question really is, you know, please tell us about the exhibition you have coming up, and, you know,
Yes,
tell everyone how,
there.
tell us how we can, you know, be in touch with everything that you do artistically, because everyone needs to know.
Well, so a few things are coming up. I have my exhibition closing, which is Streetlights, and that is at 200 West 9th Street this Friday from 5 to 9 p.m. Also, I am in a group exhibition at the Chris White Gallery this Friday at 700 North Shipley Street, and that is from, I believe, 5 to 8 p.m. And again, that's the Chris White Gallery. They are having their an anniversary show, and so they're bringing in all the different artists who've exhibited in space over time. And so Andy Bible is actually curating that exhibition. But I'm probably gonna like drop in for a little bit so I can get back to my own reception. You know, it's just, you know, it's the challenge of like, you know, people trying to coordinate calendars and stuff like that. But
I'll tell you what.
Yeah.
One thing that a musician can't do is be in two places at the same time. So right. I respect that. I can do two shows in one night, but I can't be in two shows at the same time.
No, and that is like a blessing. So I'm grateful to be able to duck out and be like, I'll be right back, and, you know, float out for an hour and then I'll come back. And I do that. That's what I usually do during Art Loop too. I'm also a part of another group exhibition at the Delaware Contemporary. I don't know how to say this.
We know what you talk about. I'm gonna put the flyer up. It's okay.
I try to always say it with like a deep amount of prestige when I say it, so that it sounds, you know. Yes. But for the sake of your audience, yes, put that up for the people to see. Mighty God. I actually did that flyer too, by the way. I was really excited to kind of play with those that idea. But I'm really excited about that exhibition because, again, it's exploring all the different sort of voices that we have within the arts community. Even if, you know, we might disagree on things, it's like, you know, we still respect each other enough to be present with each other. And shout out to Seven, God, and Shakira for working with the Delaware Contemporary to put together that exhibition.
Yes. One last question. The Delaware Art Museum will be watching. What would you say to them regarding the local artists of today?
Regarding the local artists of today, well, I would want to say thank you as a local artist of today for the ways that you have supported me in my journey as an artist, as a creative, and just done so in a way that's really poured into me as well, and really like showing me grace, and like, you know, when, you know, it wasn't always great, but, you know, they were always like really willing to like work with me, even in the areas where, you know, I didn't always have the expertise. And moreover, that like my hope for them, that what I would want to see from them, in essence, would ultimately be to just continue that for other people, for other artists who sort of need that development and need that guidance around how they can be a part of this larger art movement, and how can, you know, you as a museum also, you know, be more involved in that local art scene. And they've done, I think, a really good job as an organization. And because I get it, you know, I've worked in nonprofit, and so it's not easy to just kind of just dive right in. And I know sometimes people see that, you know, it's a building, it's a name, but there's actual real people that work here, that, you know, they don't know everything. Some of them aren't even from here. And so I look forward to seeing like the new opportunities that they'll create for local artists in this community. knowing that like they do these things. And so like asking them to do them when I know that they already doing them, they're already doing them is just something I don't want to do. But I just want to say thank you to the Delaware Art Museum for supporting me as an artist and for continuing to highlight and showcase these untold stories.
I love it.
I feel like if he took off the Christian hat and put down the Bible for a second, he'd step outside and be like, listen, my name is JaQuanne from Westside. And when I reach out, when I bring you this art, you better put it up or else. This JaQuanne from Westside. No, no, okay, no. Okay, I'm sorry.
Listen, I mean, I just,
I can't.
I was never that guy, you know.
Oh my God.
I wanted to put that on you for absolutely no reason.
I'm gonna mute you, Jay. Like I'm gonna mute you.
I'm from the hood, but not of the hood.
This JaQuanne Westside. You better have my art up in there right now.
Hey, stop. You too light-skinned to be talking like that. Cut it out. Well, thank you, my dear. It's been a long time coming because we've run into you too many times, and I don't want this to happen again. Next time we interview you, it's going to be just about you and how you feel about your art and you feel about the community. Because I know everyone's going to love you as much as we do. And we're so thankful for you doing this with us. And we want to send you love and positive energy for your shows coming up.
Yes.
And we will be at the February 4th for sure. I don't know about this Friday because we're still dealing with some COVID issues, but the February 4th when we will be there, and
I might not even be there, so that's all right.
Okay.
I might be getting flued out, so you know. There's that, you know.
Well, to everyone watching, thank you. We love you, and we'll see you soon. Bye.
Peace and blessings. My name is JaQuanne LeRoy. I'm a visual artist from Wilmington, Delaware, and I am here to celebrate the vision of Percy Riggs. I am a visual artist from today's era, and being able to be in a space where I'm able to see the vision of someone who not only was creating work themselves, but they were bringing together other artists is just a great inspiration for me. I am also a curator, and I'm also someone who brings together exhibitions, and I just love the diversity of all the different mediums and colors and forms of expression that I believe are just really shining a light on like where we could be striving to be today as artists.
What does this mean to you, this exhibition?
I would say, for me, this exhibition means, so far, from what I've seen, just freedom. I think as Black or brown people, we are so dynamic, and we have so much range that we are not able to be boxed into one format. And just seeing all the different types of work here just really is inspiring for me as an artist and for my contemporaries, people who do work similar to mine or very different from mine. This is just so inspiring.
So it's bigger. It can be bigger than art.
Absolutely, absolutely. And then even the deeper story behind how this exhibition was originally rejected by this institution. And as an artist, you know, being in these spaces, sometimes it does feel as though you are somewhere that maybe you aren't necessarily allowed to be, but it does give a sense of hope that, you know, there are people who are recognizing the mistakes of the past and doing things that they have the ability to do to right those wrongs and celebrate this work. This is an amazing body of work by Percy.